Eagles lost again. They lost to Detroit 27-24. And this was a game, like last week, they could have easily won if the wide receivers would just hold on to the damn ball. Second week in a row where a drop has pretty much cost us the game that we would have won. And, I mean, we can complain about the face mask, which was such a BS thing that didn't get called. But that didn't really have an impact on. It really wasn't something that would have had a massive impact like this did. Because it just seemed last week they couldn't capitalize on these opportunities, these receivers, and they're just proving why they're backup receivers. And these receivers just, gosh, I mean, Aguilar's hot and cold, and the other guys did this, and they just like drop everything. So it's just pretty much like Aguilar and Ertz are like the only two like wide receiver targets for Wentz. And Wentz did have a pretty decent day. He was 19 for 36 with just over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then you got a good game of rushing from our running back core, a decent day, I should say. And then you just like, there was like 7 drops in this game from the wide receiver core combined, and I believe 3 of those drops would have been touchdowns. And there was one in particular, though, that would have won us the game. It was on that 4th down at the end of the game, and then that cost us the game. And then we have a secondary that just cannot cover. I mean, I do know there are some members of our secondary that are on injured reserve, IR injured reserve, or whatever. But man, these guys, they just like, ugh. This season, like, I'm really hoping things change when Deshaun and Jeffrey come back. Since I know we won't have them for the Thursday game, but I really hope that this season isn't just Dream Team 2.0, because they're really like hyping it up as this is a team that's better than the Super Bowl 52 team, but I ain't seeing it. This is like, I'm watching the 2016 Eagles or 2015 Eagles, like that kind of level of, at best, low-tier mediocrity. I mean, Wentz has been balling, but just seems like just so frustrating, man. I mean, at this point, I would not be surprised if there was some Howie Roseman sort of trade that he did for the last 2 seasons were to happen here. And as far another thing I'm going to mention, since I figured this is one thing that I'm sure is going to be brought up, is the 2 fumbles by Miles Sanders. Yes, I found those fumbles to be incredibly frustrating, especially if they happen on the same drive. But at the same time, I understand that, you know, I guess I'm more, I want to say sympathetic, but I guess I'm not too harsh on him. Part of that's because I felt like the other mistakes that were made today were a lot greater in context, which I know for a player that fumbles twice as a running back, that's kind of saying something. Because honestly, at points, it just seems like this game shouldn't have been as close as it is. And I understand that he is a rookie, and I figured that it is actually a good thing that we're doing a running back by committee. So after those 2 mistakes, they kind of just had Jordan Howard play out most of the game, and then brought in Sanders near the end. I do feel like the Eagles do need to use Jordan Howard better. This is a player that you've hyped up this offseason with, and then what are you doing in the game? Just nothing with him. It's like they pretty much hardly use him, and it's like with how little you use him, you just might as well trade him. I mean, and that's just a disappointment. It's a huge disappointment, honestly. What else can I talk about? Oh yeah, our defense, of course, to no surprise, the secondary is playing poor. I mean, as I mentioned earlier. Is there anything else I can really comment on? I don't think so. JJ Aguirre-Whiteside is the third round pick we drafted this year. Actually, second round, I think. He was either in those rounds, I think. But he's just been completely invisible. He has had no presence whatsoever so far this season. Mac Hollins is honestly a player that, as of right now, I would say trade him or release him or something, because I'm usually not that player. I mean, that person that goes after, because I know there are some rabid Eagle fans who, like, anytime the Eagles lose, like, every single week, they'll just, like, flood Twitter with, cut Wentz or whatever, but I'm not like that. But Mac Hollins has been, at least in my opinion, not consistently good, all right? So I'm really hoping he can prove me wrong, because I did have similar opinions of Agholor in 2016, actually, 2016. But then he changed that around the year of the Super Bowl run, and then now he's being a little inconsistent. This team is not learned from their past mistake in the last year of being a team that pretty much doesn't show up, that pretty much plays outright poor or just very mediocre in the first half and then goes out guns blazing in the second half. And that needs to change, because that's just going to bite us in the ass. And it already has bit us in the ass this year. And you can't just keep on doing that. Something needs to change here. Change in the way that you plan out. Doug Peterson needs to change the way that he game plans the first half, honestly, because it's kind of difficult to play a game when you're playing catch up, honestly, as you can imagine. And I really hope that it's not the whole season like this, because honestly, I expect disappointment from the Phillies. And this is a game where you go, trying to process my thinking here. Overall, I'm just extremely disappointed. I'm not gonna get super angry if you're expecting a classic, NFL fan rage out where I just grab a TV and throw it outside or something crazy like that. No. This is just more a mix of disappointment and I don't know what else. It just feels like I'm in for a long season this year. Hopefully things can change, and hopefully I'm proven wrong. And I guess the only highlight on offense today was some of the runs today, and Wentz. At this point, it's just more of hoping. Not hoping, but waiting for Djax and Alshon to get back and hopefully change things for the better, and potentially look for a Housey Roseman crazy deal thing. But as of right now, with the way the Eagles are playing, this is a game where I'm going to give the whole team, because this is a game that where the Eagles just had so many opportunities and they just didn't capitalize on them. They had that freaking blocked field goal that was returned for a good amount. Of course, it got called back for a penalty, but still, there are so many opportunities where the Lions just handed you the game and you couldn't do jack with it. You had 3 chances and you just choke Okay. Okay. Was it? Yeah. It around. Actually, it was more like 2, but you get the idea. There was like multiple opportunities to capitalize on a possession, and you just botch it like so horribly. And this is against the Lions too. Isn't this team like supposed to be like New England light? You know. Who are the Eagles even playing next? I think it's Packers. I think. Let me double check. Yep, it's Packers Thursday night. So it's going to be a short week for them. But yeah, overall, I'm going to probably, if I had to, grade the Eagles' positions, it'd probably be defense. I'll give a C, or C plus, B minus ish, because even though the secondary was kind of horrible, quite a bit in this game, the front seven did a good job of providing pressure. And then the offense, I'm going to give a D. D minus. If it wasn't for Wentz, honestly, and for a few plays here and there, this would be an F. This is a game where the Eagles should have handedly win. I'm not saying that the Lions are a terrible team by any means, even though I kind of made a comment like that earlier here about them being New England light. But there's so many opportunities that the Lions just like handed you the game on. Like, if this is a team that easily should have capitalized on that. I know the Lions did have a few missed opportunities as well. Not saying that because that's the way a game goes. There's opportunities missed on the Lions side in here, but I don't know. I just like am lost for words. I thought I would have more to say, other than just being filled with complete disappointment in this team. I just really hope they can turn it around against Green Bay, and that's all you can really hope for. And I guess I'll see you in whatever my next video will be, probably a review. And if you're a fan of any other NFC East team, I feel free to laugh at my expense right now, which I'm sure you are doing right now. But yeah, that was this game, and fly, Eagles fly. Scored, da 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 da. Yeah, I kind of lost. It's kind of. Alright. Alright. I guess I'll end it here. This is just really freaking awkward. See you in the next video.